on YouTube. Oh my God, you guys. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about early signs from your loved ones in spirit. And first of all, I want to thank all of you who are here live with me. Yes, I see you all in the chat. I see Cheryl is here, and I see that Angel is here, and I see that Gav Patrick is here, and I also see Tina as well. I see Amber is here. Oh my God, you guys. We have so much to talk about. And for those of you who are watching on the replay, don't forget my spirit is with you guys as well. I love all the comments that you guys post afterwards. So write in live in the chat or write in the comments below this video. I would love to hear your take on signs and what your loved ones in spirit have been sending you. But this is something that so many of you guys have been asking me about, all right? I've been getting so many messages from all of you asking me this one question. You've been saying, Matt, what happens when I don't sense and feel my loved ones with me? Now, this happens to all of us when our loved ones first pass away. When you first lose a loved one, it's very common that you don't get signs right away. And you might be thinking, Matt, where is my loved one in spirit? Why is it that I'm not getting signs from them? Matt, are they in heaven? Are they okay? Are they mad at me? What am I doing wrong? Am I missing them? Am I grieving? What is happening? Well, I want you to know this, okay? And this is something that a lot of mediums I feel don't cover or don't talk about. What I want you to know is that there's a transition time when our loved ones get to the other side. What does that mean? It means that when our loved ones first get to the other side, when they first transition on into heaven, there's a lot of different things that they do. First, they meet their spirit guide, they meet their guardian angel, they learn why they were put here on this earth, they meet their pets that have passed on before them, they see the reason why they were given certain challenges, struggles, gifts, talents, abilities here in this world. They see what their life was worth, the meaning of their life. They see, the people that helped them, the people that hurt them. They see all different areas of their life. But also, one of the things that our loved ones do when they transition to the other side is this. Our loved ones will actually choose signs that they'll use to reach us here in this world. But here's a little secret. Our loved ones in spirit don't come through right away, or not in the signs that you'll expect. And here's the reason why. One of the things that the spirit world tells me is that when they transition on to the other side, they almost compare it to, picking out greeting cards here in this world. They choose signs that they'll use to reach their family members here in this world. They'll choose one sign to reach their sister. They'll choose another sign to reach their best friend. They'll choose another friend to reach their coworker that they love and miss in the spirit world. They'll use another sign to reach their son that they left behind. But what I want you to know is this, is that spirits don't use just a blanket sign that covers everyone. Your loved ones choose signs once they get to the other side for a couple different reasons. One, because it best represents them. It best represents you and them, meaning the connection that you had with them here in this world. And three, it's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you. But much like, because I've asked the spirit world, we'll compare it to something here on earth. How do you choose signs? Well, the spirit world has told me that the same way that we go to the store and we pick out greeting cards for our loved ones here in this world, right? In the same way that we pick out a birthday card that's different for one sister versus another, or your brother versus your stepbrother, or your mom versus your stepmom, right? They're all different, or you might have 5 different best friends, but you choose all different greeting cards or birthday cards or thank you cards for them because the messages will apply to them and will apply to one and not the other. Well, your loved ones in spirit do the same thing with signs. Signs are like a little postcard, a little card that your loved one's sending you from heaven to let you know, hey, I'm here and with you. I'm okay. I'm watching over you. I am safe and at peace, and I don't want you to worry. But here's what I want you to know, all right? We talk about transition time as mediums because when your loved ones first get to the other side and they're going through all these things, meeting their loved ones, learning the meaning of their life, meeting their guardian angel, meeting their spirit guide, one of the things that also happens is your loved ones have to learn how to communicate, how to speak, and how to connect with you. And not just you, they also have to learn how to communicate to a psychic or a medium like myself. For example, I'm going to tell you guys, I always know when there's a recent spirit that passed away. And here's the reason why. Normally when I connect with the spirit world, they'll come through and the spirits that step forward right to the front of the line will come loud and strong and start overwhelming me with details. They'll show me vivid images on how they had died, what had happened before they took their last breath. They'll really come through with prominent messages that they'll have for their loved ones. They'll start to talk right away about certain loved ones they want to reach, certain things they want to tell their loved ones. They'll also provide me with validation so that their loved ones will know that it's truly them coming through and trying to speak and communicate. But when I connect with souls that recently passed away, something different takes place. When I connect with a I call it like a new spirit, an early bird spirit, right? A soul that just recently went to the other side. 9 times out of 10, it's very tough for me to communicate with them. Because it's almost like being on a cell phone that's breaking up. I'll hear from them and then it's kind of like I'll lose the connection. I'll hear from them and then I'll lose the connection. And they're just not as, I don't know how to explain it. They're just not as, I want to say, strong as other souls, right? Well, here's the reason why. It's because they're learning to connect with us the same way that we're learning to connect with them. I can tell you that as a psychic medium, connecting with the other side is learning a brand new language every day. Every day, I'm learning new ways to connect with the spirit world, new ways that they're talking to us, new things about heaven and the afterlife, right? Well, they're actually learning the same ways to connect with us here in this world now that they're on the other side. But what I want you to know is that you might not get hit with signs right away from your loved ones in spirit, but there's actually some secret signs, some early signs that your loved ones will use, but not even know about it. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that there's one thing that your loved ones do when they get to the other side. There's one thing that all of your loved ones share, one common thing that they want to do when they get to the spirit world. Can you guess what that is? The first thing that they want to do is come back and check up on you. That's what every soul tells me. Every soul tells me that after they meet their loved ones on the other side, the first thing that they want to do is check up on their loved ones here. They may want to check up on their grandchild who, was just born after their passing. They might want to check up on their daughter who is having such a hard time letting go of them here in this world. They might want to check up on their husband that they were so afraid to leave and transition onto the other side without. They might want to check out on their best friend or someone who's sick here in this world. Well, what I want you to know is that when this happens, when your loved ones come to check up on you, without even knowing it, you sense and feel them. And these are what I call early signs from spirit. Early signs from spirit are the signs that you can tell that your loved ones are visiting you that literally they don't even know that they're doing. And here's the reason why. Because when your loved ones leave this world, they leave their body behind, they become energy. And without knowing it, because they're not used to this new spirit form, because they're not used to being energy, right? They're not really sure what that actually means or what that entails. It's almost like when you have to learn to ride a bike again, right? We never really lose the ability to ride a bike, but after being years without being on it, you get on it and you're a little wobbly. You don't really know what it can do. You're testing it out. You're trying to learn how to use it. Well, it's the same thing when we get to the other side. We have to get in touch with our soul, understand how to visit our loved ones, how to check up on loved ones, how to send signs, how to do all these things. We all sense and feel our soul. Our soul is what's responsible for that connection that we feel with other people. It's our connection to our intuition, our deep-rooted emotions, our love is all rooted in our soul. But once we get to the other side, it's where we really have to learn kind of how to come through, communicate, speak. It's almost like learning how to walk again, but just in spirit form. So the reason why I'm telling you this is for one reason. Because when your loved ones come to check up on you here in this world, they're not really sure what their soul can actually do. So it's really, really common for loved ones that have passed away, that just recently passed away, to actually freak out their friends and family here in this world. What do I mean by that? Well, as a medium, I've noticed many things. I've noticed that when our loved ones first pass on and they come to check up on us here in this world, that many times their energy will affect you. What do I mean by that? Well, because your loved ones are energy, they have almost like, I like to think of it as like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly. You guys let me know. I like to think of it as like an electromagnetic field around them, where no matter where they go and they're around us, that field affects our electronics around us. For example, has this ever happened to you? Write it in the comments right now. Has it ever happened that a loved one had passed away, and literally after a loved one passed away, weird things started to happen? Maybe you woke up randomly in the middle of the night. It was at 3 a.m. that your fire alarm was blaring, and you got up, you ran around the house, and nobody was there, right? No fire, no smoke. Nobody, but the alarm system or the fire alarm started going off. It might be that all of a sudden, you go to bed and you wake up and your time is flashing a completely different time. It might be that your cell phone rings, right? And it's the same number. How many times has this happened? The same number that was your loved ones that had passed away. And there's no way they could call you. That phone's been disconnected. It could be that all of a sudden, the volume turns on your TV turns on, your TV turns off. It could be that your lights start to flicker, your doorbell rings. Notice they all have one thing in common. It all has to do with electricity. Why? Because your loved ones are in spirit form. When they come to check up on you, it's almost like being in a new house for the first time, right? Your loved ones want to touch everything, see everything, right? They want to see how you're doing, what's going to happen. So when they come through your house and they come and check up on you, you might not sense and feel them, but your electronics do, and your electronics can alert you that your loved ones are there. It's the reason why you might take a picture and all of a sudden you see an orb in the picture after a loved one just recently passed away. Well, what are orbs? Orbs are literally our loved one's energy. Our loved ones don't look like that. They don't look like an orb or a circle. Being a medium, when I see your loved ones, they don't come through as a big circle to me. But what I can tell you is that cameras have a different lens or a different filter than our eyes do. So sometimes our cameras will actually pick up on their energy. Seeing orbs is actually the energy of a spirit that goes by us. But what also happens, which is really cool as well, is that there's other signs that our loved ones can send us without knowing it. And that is that if you've ever had that feeling like someone's watching you, someone's there, but you can't pinpoint it, know that you're probably your loved one in spirit. What's so funny is that a lot of times people don't coordinate, or put these coincidences together with the loved one that had passed away. A lot of times after a loved one passed away, people have weird things that will start happening. They'll think their house is haunted. I'll get a million calls. You have no idea how many calls I'll get from different people where they'll be like, nah, and I shouldn't say just different people. My own friends and family will call me and be like, nah, you got to help me. My house is all of a sudden haunted. And I'll go to tap in and I'll be like, what's happening? Oh, the light's been turning on. This has been happening. That's been happening. The toaster turned out by itself. And I'll go to tap in and I'll go to close my eyes and see what soul is visiting them. And it was their grandmother who had just passed away. It was their cousin that had passed away that was out of state that didn't get to say goodbye. It was their old friend from college that they just recently attended the funeral of. But like I said, a lot of times when these things happening, right, we don't see them as signs. And it's funny because, how many people say to me, I just had a woman who is what's it called? A friend of a friend. She had lost her husband, and I was just out to dinner with the couple, and they was saying to me, well, Matt, why is it why? She's like, why is it my husband is doing this? Why is he turning the lights on and off? What's he trying to scare me? And I'm like, no, he's not doing it on purpose. I'm like, it's actually just, his spirit's doing that. When he's walking around the house, the lights are flickering. He can't help it. He doesn't really know that he's doing it. And it's actually amazing because when you have those signs, talk to your loved ones. If all of a sudden that starts to happen, say, Dad, is that you? Call your husband's name out, call your brother's name out. The one thing that I can tell you is that the people that receive the most signs are the people that are open to it. Well, how can you be open to receiving signs from the spirit world? Well, you can be open by communicating with your loved ones. When you communicate with your loved ones, they communicate back to you. What do I mean by that? Well, when your loved ones go to the other side, they choose the signs that they'll reach you. And like I said, it takes a little bit for them to really get accustomed to it. But once your loved ones start, to understand how to communicate and how to reach you, they'll start to use specific signs, songs on the radio, a certain number, a certain time. Stephanie was asking me earlier, even pets can come through and reach you using signs. What I want you to know is that they start to nail down these signs for certain family members. Your sister may get a certain sign that tells her that your dad is there. You might get a certain fragrance that tells you that your dad is there. The signs are different for everyone, and it's based on the relationship that you had with the loved one. But what I want you to know is that when you don't know if it's a sign, if you have one of those weird coincidences that happen, one, check to see if there's other signs around you. For example, if you feel like you're not alone, if you feel like someone else is in the room with you, take your phone out, start videoing, start taking pictures. Do you see orbs in the pictures? Do you see random distortion in the pictures that you take? You may have caught a spirit. What are your pets doing? Remember, pets can see spirits. If you're feeling someone that's there and all of a sudden your cat starts to look around the room or your dog is chasing something that's not there, know that that's an indicator that a spirit is with you. If all of a sudden, and by the way, take a look at what that pet is doing. Does that pet know that person? For example, if all of a sudden that dog that you had is barking at the favorite chair that was your dad's that he used to sit in every time he came over to your house, know that that's his way of showing you that, your dad is there and with you. If, that dog is really excited over that spirit coming in, know that that could be the person the person that your dog is seeing is somebody that they really loved here in this world. Was that your brother that passed away? Was that your sister? One of the other things that you can do is actually see if the children around you see them. For example, it's very common that if you're sensing or feeling spirits with you, young children around you, because remember, children also have a different lens. And it's actually funny because someone just told me this quote. I don't know if it was just a quote that they said or if it's from the old country, but they said that children are the closest to God and the closest to heaven because they come straight from there. And, I don't know if that's just an analogy or what it is, but to me, that's the truth. Our soul comes from heaven, is born here in this world. So it's very common for children to see and experience spirits. So if you have a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old that's glancing over at something that's pointing to something that's not there or interacting with someone that's not there, know that that's also an early sign. But I want you to know this. What I want you to know is that remember that all souls communicate differently. And a lot of people ask me, well, Matt, like for example, here on YouTube, somebody will be like, how come this reading is so specific and this reading, is not, or this soul came through and told you his name, his date, his this, his that, his the other thing. And this soul was a little bit more general. Well, remember this, remember that all souls communicate differently as well, right? If you had a mother that was vivacious here in this world, very loud, very outgoing, very bossy, she'll probably come through without a doubt, loud and strong, telling all her business on the other side to any psychic medium. But if you had a soul, if you had a father who was very, very laid back, very quiet, very meek and mild, didn't want to step on anyone's toes, didn't want to only want to spoke when spoken to, that soul might be a little bit more quiet. He might be a little bit harder to pick up on with the signs, right? Your mom, if she was big and bossy here in this world, chances are she's big and bossy in the afterlife. If she was always in your business here in this world, she was always in your business probably in the afterlife. But if your dad was somebody who was more laid back or more reserved, it might be really hard to sense and feel the signs from him. Doesn't mean that they're not there. Just means that your other loved ones might come through to the front of the line where your dad might be kind of hanging out in the background. But it's all about recognizing the signs that your loved ones are using. What I have to let you know is this, is that here's a little secret. Every psychic and medium connects with your loved ones in one way. Well, many ways, but one of the main ways is through signs. When your loved ones are speaking to me, how do you think they're talking to me? They don't speak English to me. Your loved ones don't come through and say, oh, hi, I'm Nancy. Tell my daughter I'm fine. What they use is certain signs to get my attention and to let me know that they're there. For example, if I see, a vision of life support, I know that that person was on life support before their passing. If I see a vision of an ambulance, meaning if I see a symbol of an ambulance riding by me when I'm connecting with the loved one in spirit, I'll know that they died on the way to the hospital. If all of a sudden I start to feel a sensation within my legs, I know that that spirit is trying to tell me that they couldn't walk here in this world. If a spirit is coming through and all of a sudden they're showing me that, let me think of another sign they use. Oh, if for example your loved one's coming through and they're showing me, ashes, I know that they were cremated and not buried. Well, what are all these things that your loved ones are showing me? They're showing me signs. Signs are the easiest way for them to communicate with us here in this world. So I want you to know this. Signs are anything that remind you of a loved one. It's something that makes you say, oh my God, I know that that's my dad, or oh my God, that reminds me of my mom. But when you're not sure of if it's your dad, if it's your mom, if it's your loved one, do this. Say, when you get that sign, say, Dad, is that you? Dad, did you just send that to me? How do I know that it's really you? Send me another sign. And let me tell you something. That is the number one way to hear messages from your loved one. People say to me all the time, Matt, how is it that my sister gets signs from everybody and anyone and I get signs from no one? Well, if you talk to her, you'll probably realize that she's talking back to your mom or dad. She's talking to your loved ones. Your loved ones like hearing from you the same way that you like hearing from them. When you say, Dad, was that really you? Mom, I need to know you're hearing with me. I need to know that that was you. Literally, what you're doing is a few things. You're letting your loved one know that you can hear them. You're letting them know that you received the sign. And 3, you're letting them know that it's okay for them to contact you in that way. And just as you get excited to get messages from your loved ones, your mom, dad, sister, brother, whoever it is that's passed away, love hearing those things from you and love sending signs back to you. So the more that you talk to them, the more signs that they will send you. But like I said, what's so amazing is this: when a loved one passes away, it can take up to a year's time to receive fine-tuned signs, I like to call them, specific signs, like a certain song, a certain fragrance, a certain number, a certain thing. But start with the early signs when you feel like you're not alone, when you have that orb that appears, when all of a sudden you're sensing and feeling something that other people can't. Know that those are early signs from spirit. And like I said, once you learn about those early signs, you'll be able to know that your loved ones are there and with you, and more importantly, that they are okay. And another sign that your loved ones use to communicate is actually communicating through a psychic medium like myself. How many times am I out in public and your loved ones will say, Matt, I'm this person's daughter, and they'll start showing me signs. They'll be like, can you go over there and tell her this, and this? And they'll show me all these fast visions. They'll make me feel these certain things I have to deliver and say to that person here in this world. Well, they do it all through signs, and they do it using me. And what's so amazing is this: because your loved ones are energy, it's the same way that I'm able to give online readings as well. Do you know how many people actually write to me? Oh my God, thank you, Mary. She goes, Matt, you are effing amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. How many people write to me every day? I don't know why this happens. Can you guys actually, I want to ask in the chat right now, why does this keep happening? People write to me every day and they say, Matt, there's no way that you can read people online. And I'm like this. Like my head is in my hands. I'm like, what do you mean there's no way I can read people online? They're like, I don't believe you can give readings online. And I'm like, have you been to my YouTube page? Have you watched my YouTube videos? And they're like, yeah, but how do you read people online? And I'm like, they're like, I don't think you can do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Do you watch my videos? Do you see people getting readings? I don't I don't understand that. Thank you, Cammy, by the way, for the super chat. Like, why is it that people like don't understand that you can do readings online? I mean, there's like over 100 readings right on my YouTube alone from people being on Zoom with me, right? Well, the way that it works is this: please ask me why. I want to know why people ask that question. If you guys know the answer to that, please write that in the chat because I really need to know. Because here's what it is. I've asked the spirit world about this. I'm like, well, how is it that, like psychics and mediums can read online? Like I've asked the spirit world about this since I've never really thought it was weird, but since some of you guys think it's weird, not all of you, but I know you would not believe that people ask me this on a daily basis. I asked the spirit world and they explained it to me like this. When I'm doing an online video reading, like you see on my YouTube page, when I'm reading people through Zoom, right? It's like being on a three-way conference call. I'm there, you're there, and your loved one in spirit is right there on the other line. Has it ever happened to you where you're talking to somebody on a phone line and someone is listening in on the next line, also chiming in, also talking? Thank you, Kimberly, for the super chat. Well, it's because your loved ones are energy. So guess what? The same way that, I'm broadcasting live on YouTube right now and I'm with all of you live right now, it's the same thing. So what's really cool is that, you don't have to be in person to read somebody because energy is everywhere. And thank you, Harmony Moon, for the super chat as well. So that's the reason why, I love these online readings so much, is that during these readings, I'm able to read for people in Australia, Canada, all these different places. I mean, I've read for so many of you guys. If you look, there was just a new YouTube video that was posted today of this woman who, did you guys see that video, by the way? She attended my online group reading. She didn't know how her brother had died. She really needed to know the answer. She didn't know if it was suicide, if it was an overdose. It was all these things. The video is up, and she was just amazed. She actually just wrote and left a comment and was just talking about how amazing the reading was for her and how much healing it brought to her. And thank you, Seeking Harmony, for the super chat as well. So I want to let you know this, is that, for all of you who are wondering, Matt, how can spirit communicate? It's just like that. Spirit tells me it's a three-way street. And I want to let you guys know this. I don't know if you guys know, I'm back from paternity leave, and there are 3 online readings that I just added. It's only $19 to attend an online reading, and everyone that you see, all of the videos I've been posting on my YouTube page, everyone who has gotten a reading has gotten a reading at an online group reading event. That's how you get read. Thank you, Cheryl, for the super chat as well. And it's funny because that's another thing. A lot of you guys have been writing to me, and you're like, Matt, how is everyone getting these readings? How's everyone getting read on your YouTube? And I'm like, you just go to an online reading and then you talk to your loved one and they come through during the online reading events. Like we do them every week. So I want to let you know that October is sold out, November is sold out, and there are only 3 online readings left: December 1st, December 3rd, and December 4th. So if you'd like to attend, you've got to head on over to my website, meetmattfraser.com. That's meetmattfraser.com. I pinned the link up on this video to go and to reserve your spot. And I also see that Evelyn's asking me, I've been smelling popcorn. Could that be a sign from my mom? Absolutely. What I want you to know is that if you're smelling something, you're getting a sign from your loved one, think about what that smell reminds you of. Does it remind you of your mom cooking in the kitchen? Does it remind you of a favorite childhood memory? Does it remind you of someone that passed away? What I want you to know is this: signs bring about memories. I actually had a client who lost his mom, and literally after his mom passed, literally in the middle of the night, he would wake up and swear his mother was cooking in the kitchen. He would smell her gravy, her meatballs, could you tell he was Italian? Her gravy, her meatballs, her eggplant, all of these things. Well, that was his sign from his mom. His mom would use that to get his attention, to let him know that she was there and visiting him. And even me as a medium, when your loved ones come through, I smell things I smell what they smell like here in this world. I don't want to, that kind of sound came out weird, but it's just how it is as a medium, because it's an experience. So for example, there was just a reading that I did the other day where the man worked for an oil company. And when he came through, all I could smell was oil. Actually, it just happened in Concord too. A woman, I was on stage and I was reading this woman. And when her dad came through, all I kept smelling is gas. Not like this type of gas, like the house gas. And I'm like, your father's here. I keep smelling gas. And she's going to me, oh, my father worked for the gas company. She started freaking the hell out, like freaking out. Thank you, Marcia Gray, as well, for the super chat. And thank you, Tina, as well. So I want you guys to know that. I want you to know that, signs do that for that reason, because they're meant to remind you of a loved one that passed on. All right. I also want to let you guys know I have you live. All right. I am back from paternity leave. I'm also coming to these cities and states. So if you'd like to come and see me for a live reading, I want you to know that I'm coming to Tampa, Florida, starting October. What date is that? October 13th, I'll be in Tampa, Florida. October 14th, I'll be in Orange Park, Florida. Thank God it's still there. I'm also coming to Northfield Park, Ohio. I'm coming to Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm coming to Cabazon, California, Lancaster, California, Reno, Nevada. I'm also coming to Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Worcester, Massachusetts, St. Louis, Missouri, and New Bedford, Massachusetts. Tickets are on my website, meetmattfraser.com. I've also been praying for everybody in Florida. Oh my God, I've been so heartbroken, because as you guys know, I also live in Florida, and I've been watching the news. I've been watching all the videos. My heart has just gone out to everybody that's there. And I'm so excited to actually be coming October 13th and 14th, and to bring a little bit of hope and positivity to your city and state for all those who live there as well. And if you don't live in Florida, or if you don't live in one of those cities or states that I'm coming to, if you don't live in California, you got to come and see me at an online group reading. There's only 3 dates left, and it's only $19 to attend if you live here in the United States. Okay. So you can attend from anywhere, but if you live in a different city, if you live in a different country, sometimes, I don't know, the currency is different, but December 1st, December 3rd, and December 4th. So December 1st is almost sold out. There's only 8 spots left. Check my website, meetmattfraser.com. Go right there right now, meetmattfraser.com. If dead people can find me, so can you. I hope this video helped you. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you all so much. Thank you, Cammie. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Sarah. And remember one thing. Remember that even when you don't feel them, your loved ones are always with you. They're always right there. They're sending you signs. And if you listen closely, you will hear a message for yourself. So I love you guys so much. I'll see you online. I'll see you on tour. And remember, trust in the signs.